Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Rago.
I'm Reider.
And we're going to do a quick interview, get to know a rider who's been around for quite a while now, actually. I mean, you're like one of the, can I say you're one of the original wave guys? Not original,
strapless freestyle wave guys.
I mean, you've been at it for at least, what, 10 years, 15 years?
Yeah, I kind of started kiting when I was 9, and taught by my dad right out here, and then right out on the front of the shop. It's pretty cool, pretty sick spot to teach your kids. And yeah, and then when I was like 14, I think I was just like blowing it at front to blinds to handle pass. I remember this. I kept trying to do handle passes. I kept eating it, and then Evan came up to me and was like trying to give me tips. Evan Esch, and I was like, man, like, I don't know. Like, I think I'm just like, this just isn't, I'm just not good for freestyle. And then we got this skimboard order, which was to fulfill an order from Nobile. And I just had this like Nobile skim. I just started like riding it all the time and like doing all these like shove-its and like tricks. And I'd watch like Mark Shin's video and I'd be like, oh my God, like it was like a 4-minute video of him doing freestyle stuff. And then like, that was all the tricks. So I was like, I learned all the tricks in Mark's video. I was like, sick. I'm like, what else do I learn? So I just started like making up stuff, which was super fun. And then I kind of like, from doing the skimboard stuff, I started using the surfboard then. I was already wave riding a little bit and just kind of like brought them both together. And yeah, it's a good spot here in Hatteras. Got flat water to work on some freestyle stuff on like cranking days like today. And then got the waves in the fall to work on some like wave riding. It's pretty heavy surf. And yeah, it's just kind of like a fun mix of both things. Kind of, it's a good spot for it.
So you're on Air Rush. Was that your first sponsor? Like, how did that go? Like, how did you become a sponsored kiteboarder, and what direction you go?
Yeah, so I was doing like some strapless stuff, and then in like I think I got on like the national team in like 2012. How it actually started is Evan, who was riding for Air Rush, shout out to Evan Netch, got picked up by Cabrina, and Air Rush was like, oh no, we're gonna lose Reider too. Like everyone's gonna be on Cabrina, and so they were like, we need to get Reider on the team. He's been doing some good strapless stuff because strapless was starting to kind of become a thing. And then so I started with Air Rush. And I always really rode Air Rush anyway, and then just got to know the whole crew. And like, it's a super small company, and they're really cool people. Like Clinton basically is the brand manager who also like designs the surfboards, which is pretty epic. And then Pato, he's the kite designer. He's Aussie. He surfs a lot. Like he's been designing kites for a super long time. So like, it's just really cool. And they're really laid back people, and they kind of like take feedback really well too. I've never been like great with like super authority people being like, oh no, like this is how it is. This is what it's supposed to be. And they're really responsive if you're like, hey, like I think this needs to be changed. They're like, okay, like we'll look at it. They'll like actually listen to stuff. And yeah, and they just do a lot of like core brand stuff, a lot with like really good wave riding stuff, really good strapless freestyle stuff, and like surfboards. Like the surfboards have always been kind of like a priority for them, which is really cool. It's not just like an offhanded thing that they kind of like put to the side in their brand. So they focus a lot on that, which is sick.
That is something I actually really appreciate about Air Rush and getting to know the brand this year, is you guys do still focus on like the more specialized sides of kiteboarding. Like right now, everything's kind of like, the waters are almost muddied. Everybody kind of has this one generic look for kiteboarding. Everything's kind of the do-it-all, free ride. I guess big air is kind of a big thing. I love that Air Rush like still focuses on like the core sides, the core disciplines in each sport. Like they still have like a sick freestyle team.
Yeah.
They've got wave riding.
Yeah.
I guess moving on to like wave riding and gear, you're one of the few practitioners left who are still getting out on the waves and ripping like an actual surfer with your kite. Like, you know your stuff. What gear are you using? Like, what's your picks?
So yeah, I still got like the session kites for the waves, which have been super sick, and they drift well. They got a little bit more grunt in the wave, like I talked about, like in the session kites. They a little more grunt, a little more power, still really good drift, and I can use them for freestyle, and they have good hang time too. And then I also, for surfboards, I use mostly like the Amp 5.4, which just came out with the new version this year, which is super sick. Like I helped prototype that a bit as well, which is really cool. And it's right over here. Is this it? This guy right here. Very pretty board, pretty almondy board.
Looks like an actual wave board, which we don't see too much anymore in kite surfing.
It is an actual wave board. It's pretty funny. Like Clinton has never been he's never been super. We made a square board this year, but he's actually pretty into like core wave boards, and so am I. So it's always been kind of a nice partnership in that regard. And this board is kind of it's been the epic hatter's board really, because it's narrower in the tail. It's got some rocker, but still kind of compact. So like here we have waves that are like thigh high, but still steep. So this like fits in the pocket really good, and even when it's bigger, I still ride this one. It's like shoulder head high, which everyone kind of is like scoffs at, like, oh, it's just like flat board. And but you can actually ride in some crazy surf. It's like skeety fun, and then on the flat water, it's super sick as well because it's compact and still has like a nice shape. And this is the wood version. It's got inserts in it, and it's a nice smooth pad, which is really nice. Actually, these pads are freaking epic too for when you're in booties as well. But yeah, no, really stoked on the Amphi 4 this year. I was really happy with how it came out. I've been riding it a bunch, and but yeah.
Dude, appreciate the time. Hopefully, maybe we'll get out sometime in the near future and get some content with you, like ripping in these Hatteras waves, which are kind of a unique animal. If you don't know Hatteras, they look small. They are packed with power and way steeper than they should be here. It's a very unique place.
Yeah, it's a fun place. It's really good for doing a little bit of everything in the way. Some airs and some wave riding. It's pretty epic.
Cool, man. Thanks for the time.
For sure, man.
So I hope you guys found this video helpful and enjoyable. If you did, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and we'll catch you next time.